Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have a brand new storm hitting an area that some cruise ships are heading out to avoid, but one is going into port. We'll talk about that. We also have passengers being warned right now about their clothing they wear, and you might be surprised by the clothing they're wearing and what fines that they could face and where you can face these fines as well. Ketchikan is now introducing sales tax on board the cruise ship when it docks in port. We have Carnival Cruise Line making it easier for passengers, especially with passports, to get on and off the ship. And yeah, let's talk about all this news. Right now, there's a storm brewing off the coast of Brisbane, and we have three cruise ships in the area. One is the Queen Anne, one is the NCL Sun, and the other is the Pacific Encounter. Well, the Sun and the Queen Anne are actively looking for new ports to go. They're not going to go into Brisbane where the storm is expected to hit. By the way, hope everyone remains safe. It's not too bad. You hunker down, get rid of. Remember, a cyclone, a lot of people don't realize a cyclone is a hurricane. In case you're wondering, it's just called that in a different area of the world. But the Pacific Encounter, formerly known as from a Princess cruise, the Star Princess, that's what it used to be called when it was moved over to P&O. It's heading into port. So two decide not to, one decide will. Hopefully this won't be one of those decisions we talk about in a couple days going, why did they go to port? Why did they cut it so close? But they do have passengers going in that they have to disembark and re-embark. It's a home port for that ship. So you can see why they would want to get into port, and maybe they think they can get in and out before the storm really hits. Let's fingers crossed for the passengers on that cruise ship. All right, let's talk about Ketchikan. Ketchikan, Alaska is going along with places like Juneau and Sitka, and they are now waiving the exemption for purchases on board the cruise ship while they're in port. It's about 2.5%. They're expected to raise about $200,000 to $300,000 a year in this. Of course, there are workarounds for the cruise lines. They can just shut down stores. They can shut down services on board while they're in port and not have to pay those taxes. So we'll see what happens with the actual reality. Chances are the cruise ships will just continue business as normal. You'll just be starting to see possibly some tax on anything you might buy on the cruise ship while you're in port. I'll see this summer. I'm there, and we're going to see what these new taxes might bring. New taxes, always fun, always fun. All right, we also have Carnival Cruise Line is now fixing a little bit of a, not really a problem, but a hassle for cruisers, if you will. Disembarking is often like the worst day of your cruise, right? First of all, your cruise is over. You're heading back to reality, back to home, back to winter life if you live in Canada or on the East Coast and northern states. Well, they are making things a little easier when you're getting off. What they're doing now is they finally installed over in Norfolk, as well as almost every other home port city now in the United States, all have facial recognition, which of course is much, much faster than having to line up and see a customs officer. Normally now, if you have a passport, you just walk up to that facial recognition, you stick your face in it like this, it'll go green, hopefully, and you get through security and you're on your way. Just like that. They usually have 8 or 9 machines set up, and with the staggered disembarkation of people getting off with their luggage, etc., it goes very, very quickly in the actual terminal itself. Now, if you are traveling without a passport and you are traveling with a driver's license, an ID card, a birth certificate, that kind of thing, because it's a closed loop, you may still get delayed. Sometimes they still pull you aside and you have to go see an actual attendant, but this might be another one of those benefits of getting a passport if you can. Remember, it's only about $200 some and it can last 10 years. I've had mine since 2020 and it doesn't expire till 2030. I'm only halfway there with all my travels, and it's really a time saver to have your passport when you're traveling anywhere. Even when I travel within Canada, I bring my passport with me as an extra ID. Now let's talk about some clothes that you may be wearing that could lead to a fine. And some of it is just, you wouldn't even think about it. So hang on to that. But before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. You want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from the possible fines you could face, to new taxes that you might have to account for on your cruise, to rate increases, to sales, to new ships coming online, to ship reviews. You name it, we'll cover it here on the channel, hopefully to keep you as best informed you can on the cruise industry and what's happening with your possible cruise. And I hope to have a little bit of entertainment and fun along the way. It's all about having fun. I love cruising. I hope you'll join us here, and I really do appreciate it. All right, let's talk about not bans, but fines. Fines that you can face. Well, right now, Croatia towns are just introducing a new fine, and that is for wearing inappropriate attire. Now, what they mean by that is not necessarily on the beach. You know, a swimsuit on the beach, things like that is fine. It's when you leave the beach. You can't leave the beach now and go into like a tourist area, the old town, anything historic, and still be wearing just your bikini top. Or men in their bathing suit and no top. Even if it's 110 degrees outside, you can now face up to a $300 fine. Now, if you think that that is, oh, okay, it's a $300 fine and, for wearing beach attire, it's not going to happen. It is happening. They have a crackdown happening right now, and this really affects cruise passengers who will often wear something over their swimsuit, go to the beach, go into the water, enjoy themselves in their bathing suits, and then because they're wet, they just pack up their clothes that they wore, wear their, bikini tops and their bathing suits back, and men go topless when it's 100 and some degrees outside, and they just go walking around when their shuttle bus lets them off, and they go walking around the cruise port. That's where the fines are occurring. And they're not the only place that is doing this. You can get these kinds of fines in other places now, like Barcelona is introducing this into their area. Parts of Venice will also introduce. You can't walk around in your bathing suit in public areas. You can get a hefty fine, sometimes up to $500 for a fine for walking around in what they call inappropriate attire. Not necessarily skimpy clothes. That's the first thing you think of, right? When you think of a clothing violation or an offensive t-shirt or something like that. No, just wearing a bathing suit, no matter how revealing, in a public area, if it's showing all skin and just a top, and men are going topless, well, you could face a pretty hefty fine. Not only that, if you go to other places, I've mentioned this before, just while I'm talking on clothing, let's talk camouflage, camo gear. Even a camouflage baseball cap or a hunting cap or anything like that. Camouflage pants, camouflage bikini. They are completely outlawed in places like Jamaica. They're also outlawed in, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Lucia, Antigua, St. Vincent. They are all going to fine you. And you could actually get arrested and miss your cruise ship if they detain you. They usually won't throw you in jail for it. They'll bring you down to the court, fine you, make you pay. But while you're doing that, your cruise ship could be on its way without you. So just as a heads up, keep in mind all these new changes for fines of wearing what you are. And if you're going to the beach anytime in Croatia right now, I would be definitely wearing my cover-up when I leave, no matter how hot it is. Well, let me know in the comments down below. 2 out of 3 cruise ships are avoiding Brisbane, and 1 is going in. Let's hope this isn't one of those decisions that we're talking about later. Do you think, hey, why are you going in and the others are avoiding it? I don't like sailing anywhere near hurricanes. Well, I hope you appreciated this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.